Good morning. Welcome to Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace. Welcome to the soul of Sunday. We are Unitarian Universalists. Ours is a historic faith with a progressive theology. We affirm the worth and dignity of every being, and that we are all deeply interconnected. We are bound to one another, not by creed, but by covenant. And we are called to answer the call of love with open minds, open hearts, and open hands. Whoever you are, those of all creeds, all nations, all colors, all kinds of love, you are welcome here. As we gather, we acknowledge that Arlington Street Church occupies the ancestral homeland of the Massachusetts. By making this land acknowledgement, we recognize, honor, and affirm the sovereignty of all First Nations peoples.
We shall be known by the ones who
I love that so much. Thank you, dear ones. Welcome to our Zoomers. Welcome to the congregation gathered in the sanctuary. I want to say a special welcome to our beloved Reverend Joanna Lubkin, who is on her Sunday off from her ministry in West Roxbury. Joe, I just love that you can't stay away. It makes me so happy. Thank you. Where's Andrew Stack? Andrew, can you just stand up for a moment? So there was just amazing news in the life of our bass soloist, Andrew Stack. Andrew has been touring with the opera Omar, which is based on the autobiography of Omar ibn Said, an enslaved Muslim man who lived in Charleston, South Carolina. And last week or the week before, Omar won the Pulitzer Prize for music. Andrew, holy smoke, like, congratulations, you're a Pulitzer Prize winner. That is just amazing, fantastic. Congratulations, sweetheart. We're very proud of you. Awesome, awesome. Yeah. You never know what's going on over here. Thank you to our volunteers who are here in the sanctuary today, our wonderful tech team, greeters and ushers, the worship team, musicians, and the Arlington Street Church Choir, directed by Mark David Buckles. Thank you, friends. If you're here with a baby or a child, or you are feeling babyish or childish, you could hang out with Morgan and Sarah Cooleybeck. There they are. They've got fun things planned if you'd like to go hang out. There goes River. Have fun, dear one. It's great. Thank you, friends. For those of you who are new to Arlington Street, a very special welcome to you. If you're in the sanctuary, there are welcome cards in the pew racks. Please hand yours to an usher or drop it in the basket at the great doors as you leave. For those of you in the Zoom room, please fill out a connection card. The link is in the chat. It includes the option to request the link to a recording of today's sermon. Since Reverend Beth and I can't personally greet all of you, we would love to follow up with a virtual hello. Friends, whether you have been coming here for years or today is your very first time at Arlington Street, welcome home.
Good morning, friends. It's so wonderful to see all of you here in the sanctuary and to see all of our friends in the Zoom room. Welcome to Arlington Street Church. Today's order of service is available on the homepage or by going directly to tinyurl.com/ASC Sunday. If you're in the sanctuary, there is a template order of service in your pew with a QR code to scan for today's service. Also on the homepage, you'll find Sermon Bingo. Feel free to play along while Reverend Kim preaches. As we begin our greetings, I invite the Zoomers and those here in the sanctuary with a device handy to please say hello in the chat and tell us where you're zooming in from today. Ooh, spooky. And once we get the lights back up, Keith is going to turn the camera on the incarnate congregation as we wave and smile at each other, as well as at our friends in the Zoom room. And all of you in the Zoom room can wave and smile back. This is always one of my favorite parts of our service. Hello, friends. Let's all engage that Arlington Street spirit of welcome that transcends physical distance as we greet one another heart to heart.
Thank you, Beth. Good morning. I'm Mark David, Director of Music here. Happy to be up here with Reverend Joanna Lubkin today, who asked, hey, could I sing anything with you on Sunday? And I was like, why don't you just sing them all with me? So we'll do all the hymns together for you today. Choir, you can come on up. So our opening hymn is Open the Door by Judy Collins. The lyrics are in the order of service, available, on your device, or there's some hard copies as well. I'm going to teach you the chorus, and I'll sing a line, have you sing it back to me. It goes like this. Open the door and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. Let's try that. 1, 2, 3. Open the door and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. You're like a rainbow coming around the bend. Try that part. You're like a rainbow coming around the bend. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. Try that. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. I'd like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me. I'd like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me. I invite us to rise in body, rise in spirit. Feel free to add some harmonies. Feel free to sing along to all of it or sing along to just the chorus if you want. This is a great song. I learned it from Reverend Kim originally, and it's a great song about reteaching loveliness, which we'll be talking about today. And the composer writing about, the love of a friend, kind of reawakening her to joy. And as I sing these lyrics over and over again, as someone whose joy waffles from on to off, and I think sometimes I remember the old sorrows, it's always aspirational. So if you are coming here with full of joy or full of sorrow, I hope either way this chorus about coming together and having the joy of sharing this experience together speaks to you. 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes I remember the old days when the world was filled with sorrow. You might have thought I was living, but I was all alone. In my heart the rain was falling, the wind blew, and the night was calling. Come back, come back. I'm all you've ever known. Open the door and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. You're like a rainbow coming around the bend. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. I'd like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me. Fairer friends on that always see me, their smiles never reaching. Saying okay, saying goodbye, saying hello. Soon I knew that what I was after was life and love, tears and laughter. Hello, my good friend. Hello, my darling. What do you know? Open the door and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. You're like a rainbow coming around the bend. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. I'd like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me. I used to think it was only me, feeling alone, not feeling free, to be alive, to be a friend. Now I know we all have stormy weather. The sun shines through when we're together. I'll be your friend right through to the end. Open the door and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. You're all like rainbows coming around the bend. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. I'd like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me. One more time. Open the door and come on in. I'm so glad to see you, my friend. You're all like rainbows coming around the bend. And when I see you happy, well, it sets my heart free. I'd like to be as good a friend to you as you are to me.
It is now time for our treasured ritual of sharing community candles of sorrow and joy. These candles were submitted on our website by the Friday evening deadline. If you didn't submit your candle and have a joy or a sorrow to share this morning, please wait until the third candle is lit, the silent candle, and then type your joy or sorrow into the chat. Zoomers are invited to light silent candles at home. Those in the sanctuary are invited to light a silent candle at the table up front to the right of the Gleason podium. In addition to sharing our joys and sorrows this morning, let's reach out to one another in the week ahead, staying connected. May these times remind us of how very precious this beloved community is. We need one another. Whether together or apart, may we stay very close. And now, in the spirit of invocation, let's join in singing Sanctuary. The words are printed in the order of service and in the chat.
Some of us come today with heavy hearts. We open our hearts to you.
A mixed candle from Lois Hartsoff. Next week, I turn my attention to the celebration of life for my mother on Saturday, May 27th. My mother was raised a Quaker and returned to that same meeting in her 70s. The service will be held in the church where she was married. If anyone would like to join me virtually, please see me for more information. Our final candle of sorrow is from Rich Abreu. My sister is in the hospital recovering from surgery to treat septic shock. She's really struggling right now. Her recovery is going to take months, and there's at least one more surgery to come. My family will be very grateful for all the positive vibes you can send her way.
And some of us come today in joy. We share your joy.
A Candle of Joy from Reverend Joanna Lubkin. I'm honored to share that after my interim ministry at Theodore Parker Church ends, I'll be serving at the UU Area Church of Sherborne as the acting minister for faith formation and congregational life. I'm excited to be part of a fabulous ministry team and a thriving multi-generational congregation. I continue to be grateful for the love and support from my ASC family over the years, and I'll be back home with you on as many of my Sundays off as I can. Here's to new chapters. Congratulations, Joe.
For all the sorrows and all the joys we hold in our hearts, we light a silent candle to remember and to rejoice. May the peace of the sanctuary enter into our hearts as we share a quiet moment together, breathing our prayers for ourselves, for one another, for our country, and for the world. Amen.
Let's join now in saying together the affirmation and covenant of this beloved spiritual community. The words are printed in your order of service and in the chat. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another.
El amor es el espíritu de nuestra congregación y el servicio es nuestro regalo. Esto es a lo que nos comprometemos, convivir en paz, hablar nuestras verdades con amor y ayudarnos los unos a los otros.
Our next hymn is What Wondrous Love, number 18 in the gray hymnals, which are in most of the pews. Lyrics also in the order of service and in the chat. Now we've added just a little chorus to this old hymn, which the lyrics to the chorus are just the title of the song, What Wondrous Love. Let me teach it to you really quick. It just goes, what wondrous love. Try that. Ready, and what wondrous love. And we sing that several times in between each verse, and it's a great time to add some harmonies as well. I invite you to rise in body, rise in spirit, and we'll sing number 18, What Wondrous Love. Here we go. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this, oh my soul? What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul. Here's the chorus. What wondrous love, what wondrous love, what wondrous love, what wondrous love. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered around. Oh my soul, oh my soul. Friends to me gathered around. Oh my soul. What wondrous love. What wondrous love. What wondrous love. What wondrous love. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends who pain and sorrow mend, with thanks until the end I will sing, I will sing. With thanks until the end I will sing. What wondrous love, 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 what wondrous love.
I return to this poem again and again. American poet Galway Kinnell's St. Francis and the Sow. The bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower, for everything flowers from within, of self-blessing. Though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness, to put a hand on its brow of the flower and retell it in words and in touch. It is lovely until it flowers again from within of self-blessing. As St. Francis put his hand on the creased forehead of the sow and told her in words and in touch blessings of earth on the sow. And the sow began remembering all down her thick length, from the earthen snout all the way through the fodder and slops to the spiritual curl of her tail, from the hard spininess spiked out from the spine, down through the great broken heart to the sheer blue milken dreaminess, spurting and shuddering from the 14 teats into the 14 mouths, sucking and blowing beneath them, the long, perfect loveliness of sow. Again and again, I'm reminded of our calling to reteach loveliness. To whom have you retaught their loveliness? Who retaught you your loveliness? There is a video of this. A beautiful, beautifully dressed woman is seated in a barber chair, surrounded by men. The barber stands behind her, his electric shaver suspended above her head for just a beat. His free hand goes to her shoulder where it rests lightly. She nods slightly, her eyes brim with tears. This is hard. This is yet one more hard thing in a long line of hard things unspooling in her life. He shaves her head with long, sure strokes. She keeps her hands in her lap. She is stoical. When he is almost done, he takes a small step back from her chair. He tips his head, catching her eye in the mirror. And then, without pausing, he reaches up and begins to shave his own head. She gazes up at his reflection in the mirror, uncomprehending. And then another barber appears from out of the frame, taking the measure of it all. He extends his hand, and the first barber passes him the shaver. Now the second barber is shaving his head. The two men grin at one another and at her. She is in very good company. They are all beautiful. They are all beautiful. Sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. In her anointed short story collection, These Precious Days, American writer Ann Patchett tells this story. She and her husband, Carl, were leaving Russia, she writes, and while we were going through all the various lines in the airport in Moscow, we noticed that nearly everyone had a baby. There was no overlooking it. We struck up a conversation with an American couple ahead of us in line. They were going home to Atlanta with a beautiful little girl they'd just adopted. We congratulated them and said that we were on the flight to Atlanta as well. They were radiant in their happiness, this couple and their Russian baby. The closer we got to our gate, the more babies we saw, tiny infants, just walking toddlers. When the announcement came that it was time to board our flight, everyone who had a child gathered up their strollers and diaper bags and got into line. One direct flight from Moscow to Atlanta, and everyone who had come to Russia from the States to adopt a baby was on it. We were a little nervous at first, more than 100 babies on a 12-hour flight. But as it turned out, they were all happy parents, happy babies. None of them was anywhere near being tired of each other. The couple we'd met in line sat right across the aisle from us, their sweet girl in their arms. How random it all was. Who got which baby, where they'd all go later on connecting flights. Once we were airborne, the parents began to walk up and down the aisles, talking to one another, bouncing their infants in their arms. There was almost no crying until several hours into the flight when the woman across the aisle from us came back to her seat. She was crying. Her husband was asleep. Carl asked her what was wrong. She waved him off, but he persisted. Carl persists. A woman in the back told me there's something wrong with her. She was looking at her baby. Can you see it? The woman said she wasn't holding up her head enough. She said, as soon as I get home, we should take her to a neurologist. Give me that baby, Carl said. He told her he was a doctor, that he had delivered hundreds of babies. He held out his hands, and she passed him the infant. Carl studied the baby carefully. He looked in her eyes, sat her upright, let the baby grab his finger. He did whatever he could think of to appear as medical as possible. I've looked at all these babies, he said to the woman. This is the best baby on the plane. She leaned over, touched her daughter's head. Do you think so? I'd love to have this baby, he said. This is the best baby I've ever seen. I watched her grief break apart, writes Ann Patchett. Grief, dissipating, evaporating, vanishing. Carl handed back the baby with some regret and gave the woman his card. She thanked him and thanked him. He had restored her to joy. The woman just needed someone to remind her how exquisite her daughter was and how lucky they were. How lucky they were. Sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. And this reminds me of a time many years ago. One of our daughters, who also came home on a plane, is now in first grade, and her teacher is concerned. My child is lovely, the teacher says, but silent. She watches the other children, but doesn't join them. Often she sits at her little desk, gazing out the window far away. She has one friend. Peter has just arrived from France and knows no English. At recess, they climb on the jungle gym and the swings, but they play across from each other more than with each other. I'm a wreck. What's wrong with my precious child? Kem assures me that she's just an introvert, something about which I have a lot to learn. And then one day, the church administrator takes a call from the school administrator asking me to please stop by the principal's office later that afternoon. My heart is a stone. I am filled with dread. The lovely Joe Petner comes out from behind his desk to greet me, a sheaf of papers in his hand. Kim, he says, we just got back all the standardized testing. I steel myself, but his voice is filled with pride and joy and wonder. Your daughter has the highest score of any child in the city, the highest score ever recorded in the city. Clearly, she understands everything we're trying to teach her and more. She's just thinking great thoughts. She's just thinking great thoughts. Sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. One more story for this morning, a favorite of our Buddha's Belly book group. The revered Burmese meditation teacher Dipa Ma had endured tremendous suffering in her life. After 20 years of marriage, she and her husband had yet to conceive a child, a source of great sorrow for them. And then a miracle, a baby girl. 3 months later, she died. 4 years later, a baby boy, dead at birth. In her grief, Dipa Ma's health deteriorated. And then her husband, who had left for work in apparently fine health, arrived home feeling feverish. And later that day, he died. Somehow, Dipa Ma found her way to a Buddhist temple. Somehow she learned to meditate, transmuting her suffering into compassion. She became luminous with love. People traveled from all over the world to sit with her. Once she came to visit the Insight Meditation Society in Barre, Massachusetts, during their annual 3-month retreat. One of the retreatants was having a difficult time and got it into his head that if he left the retreat, checked into a motel, and watched a particular football game on TV, it would all go better. So he did. When he returned, he was predictably unhappier than when he left, filled with guilt and self-recrimination, and ashamed to tell Dipa Ma what he had done. Finally, he couldn't stand it anymore and went to her room where he sat down with her and made his confession. Dipa Ma looked at him. She reached out, took his hand, and said, "That's okay. Now you can start again. Now you can start again." Sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. Beloved spiritual companions, to whom have you retaught their loveliness? Who retaught you your loveliness? The bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower. For everything flowers from within, of self-blessing. Though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness, to put a hand on its brow of the flower and retell it in words and in touch. It is lovely, until it flowers again from within, of self-blessing. May we reteach loveliness. Amen.
The words for the anthem we're about to sing were adapted from the 23rd Psalm and written by the great hymn writer Isaac Watts. You might be familiar with his greatest hit, Joy to the World. Also wrote a lot of other hymns. As I was listening to the sermon, I found myself looking off over at one of our Tiffany windows, and it's the one over there with Jesus as the Good Shepherd. It's the one where he's got the sweet, short haircut, because he didn't have a pandemic barber. And a lot of times people ask me if that is Jesus, because his hair is different than the other pictures. And it is, and the reason partly that why that decision was made is because they wanted to remind people that Jesus was a man, like all of us. And it was this very Unitarian version of Christianity, with Jesus not as divine, or at least not as more divine than the rest of us. So as we sing this song about my shepherd will supply my need, I invite you to consider the many different manifestations of what some of us call God. As Unitarian Universalists, many of us believe that this divine is not found outside ourselves. It's found within every one of us. And then we are called to be each other's shepherds. We are called to be our own shepherds. We are spirits of divine support, love, and guide ourselves through each day.
Beautiful. Thank you so much to the choir and to Mark David. Friends, Arlington Street is entirely self-sustaining. It is up to us. And our generosity has been astounding. Thank you so much. We are grateful for your commitment to our staff, our building, and our beloved spiritual community. Each Sunday, we share our collection plate with a partner in our mission of love, service, justice, and peace. This month's beneficiary is the Louis D. Brown Peace Institute. You can read more about their extraordinary work in today's order of service. Thank you for your generosity. Please take a moment now to join me in giving to our beloved spiritual community and filling our virtual collection plate. You can give online at ascboston.org or check the order of service for instructions on how to give via QR code, Venmo, or text message. You can also mail a check to the church or use the envelopes in your pews, which can be handed to Reverend Kim, to me, or to any of our ushers after the service. Thank you for your generosity.
Hope in our eyes when we truly see each other, like the light of countless stars. We are not afraid of the dark, 'cause there is hope in our hearts. Every single beat we feel it to the ends of the earth. Our echo carries on. We are sacred, we are strong. We are beautiful, we belong. Please hear our unheard song. There's hope in our voice when we listen to each other. Barriers disappear with every story told. We are sacred, we are strong. We are beautiful, we belong. Please hear our unheard song. There is hope in our eyes when we truly see each other. We raise our flag, lift our voice. This is our moment. We are sacred, we are we are true. This is our moment. There are no borders from this view. Please help us raise our flag. There is hope in our eyes when we truly see each other.
Thank you, Beck. Thank you, Mark David. Harriet Bogage, presente. In March, we celebrated covenant renewal, renewing our great covenant of love and service, and making pledges of financial support to uphold Arlington Street and our work in the world. If you haven't made your pledge, there is still time to shine your light in ASC Nation. People give at every level. Pledges range from $100 to $30,000. If you come to church on Zoom or in person or both, if you are a member or not, if you love Arlington Street and you've embraced this place as your spiritual home, please join in helping to support it. It's easy to make your pledge. Please do it now at tinyurl.com/ASC Nation. We have 5 more new pledges to lift up today.
Many thanks to Valentina Rosa from Jamaica Plain, Jimmy Bucalo from Boston. Thank you, Jimmy. Alan Helms, Boston. Karen Manulis, Boston. And Sean McGinnis, Hopkinton. Thank you, sweethearts.
We now have 130 total pledges. As of this morning, the grand total stands at $290,677. Thank you, everyone. Bravo. Following today's service, beginning at about 12:30, is Arlington Street's annual meeting. It'll be hybrid, both in person and in this Zoom room. We will begin by voting in our newest members so they can vote on the proceedings that follow. All are welcome, but only those who have officially joined the congregation may vote. Among other items, today's agenda includes the ratification of our budget for the next fiscal year, voting in and welcoming our newest lay leadership, news from our transformation team for racial justice, and a visual update on the restoration of the building from John Anderson Miller. It won't be long, but it will be great. And here's what's happening this week. There are gatherings on Zoom for loving kindness meditation, poetry, yoga, and writing. In addition, tomorrow evening at 7, the membership team invites all Zoomers to join in a conversation about your experiences Zooming to Arlington Street. They are especially interested in your ideas about ensuring an equitable experience among all members of our beloved spiritual community. On Tuesday evening, Reverend Kim hosts Buddha's Belly Book Group and the Arlington Street Meditation Center. On Wednesday afternoon, Professor Helms and Reverend Kim host our literary salon, The Wednesdays, reading the poetry of Elizabeth Bishop. Every Wednesday at 4, Reverend Kim and I host a lively tea party with a conversation prompt. This week, we'll be sharing our answers to the question, have you ever experienced something you would call a moment of grace? Please come check it out. I'd love to see you there. And back in person, for those of you in the Boston area who love to sing, please come join the choir. Mark David holds rehearsals here at the church on Thursday evenings at 7. No experience necessary. And looking ahead, a reminder that we will be celebrating Pride in person and on Zoom here at Arlington Street at 10 a.m. on Saturday, June 10th. Our traditional pre-parade celebration will include a live band conducted by Mark David, an appearance by Wanda DeGalaxy, and Fred Small singing his new inclusive version of Everything Possible. Pride is for everyone. What a fun day to look forward to. And finally, following today's service, everyone is welcome to join virtual coffee hour. If you'd like to participate, please answer yes to the breakout room invitation that will appear on your Zoom screen. Reverend Kim and I will be at the end of the center aisle. If you're here in person, please come say hello and linger to visit. Thanks to all who joined in today's service and all those who made it possible. Remember, we are all in this together. I love you.
Thank you, Reverend Beth. Our final hymn is Shower the People by James Taylor. I was lucky enough to grow up with this one. Maybe you were too. I remember my parents playing Sweet Baby James at an elementary school assembly I was at. So that's where I came from. That explains a lot. Joe says, okay, if you don't know this one, let me just teach you the chorus real quick. It goes like this. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Try that. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Sing that. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Then it does shower the people a couple more times, and then things are gonna be much better if you only will, just like the first time. So I invite us to rise in body, rise in spirit. Feel free to sing along with any of the lyrics, or you can do some vibey ohs and ahs like the choir is doing if you feel so called. You can play the game, you can act out the part, though you know it wasn't written for you. But tell me, how can you stand there with your broken heart, ashamed of playing the fool? One thing can lead to another. It doesn't take any sacrifice. Oh, father and mother, sister and brother, if it feels nice, don't think twice. Just shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Do as I say. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna be much better. Things are gonna be much better if you only will. You can run, but you cannot hide. This is widely known. And what you plan to do with your foolish pride when you're all by yourself alone. Once you tell somebody the way that you feel, you can feel it beginning to ease. I think it's true what they say about the squeaky wheel, always getting the grease. Better to shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Things are gonna work out fine if you only will. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. shower the people you love. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. They say in every light, they say the rain must fall, just like pouring rain. Make it rain. Make it rain. Love, 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 and sunshine. Make it rain. Love, 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 and sunshine. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. One more. Shower the people you love with love. Show them the way that you feel. Thanks.
Before our benediction, I invite those of you in the Zoom room to please reach out your hands and touch the sides of your Hollywood Square. And those of you in the sanctuary to please raise your hands, palms out. Let's send loving kindness to the people to your left and to your right. Send loving kindness to the person on either side of you and to the people on either side of them. Send out love into this beloved spiritual community and feel it coming back to you. Love is the spirit of this congregation. And now for our benediction, I invite you to put your hands over your heart in namaste. I bow to the divine in you. From American poet Galway Kinnell, the bud stands for all things, even for those things that don't flower, for everything flowers from within of self-blessing, though sometimes it is necessary to reteach a thing its loveliness. May we reteach loveliness, and let us keep this faith, beloveds, and pass it on. The service begins when the service ends. Bless your hearts. I love you. Amen.
Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my divine. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. Where you go, I will go, beloved. Where you go, I will go. For your people are my people. Your people are mine. Your people are my people. You're divine, my
I'll take the bass note that time, so
Please visit ascboston.org for more information about this historic Unitarian Universalist congregation. Arlington Street Church, gathered in love and service for justice and peace.